Hey everyone, hello. So today, we're talking about one of the most complicated, uncomfortable, and emotionally charged stories in modern pop culture. Ye, formerly known as Kanye West. Yeah, he's taken out a full-page advertisement in the Wall Street Journal apologizing for his recent anti-Semitic behavior. In the ad, he states plainly, "I am not a Nazi or an anti-Semite. I love Jewish people." He expresses regret, asks for forgiveness, and attributes his actions to an untreated episode of bipolar 1 disorder. One, he says, was exacerbated by stopping medication, and it was also compounded by a past brain injury. And for some, this was a long overdue moment of humility. But for others, it rang hollow. And I'm one of those people. And for many, it opened or reopened deep wounds. So today, we're unpacking what Ye said, what science says, and most importantly, why people are so deeply torn on whether to believe him. In the ad, Ye describes a 4-month period back in 2025 that he calls a manic episode of psychotic, paranoid, and impulsive behavior. And during that time, he reversed a previous apology to the Jewish community. He publicly declared himself a Nazi. He expressed admiration for Hitler. He even sold merchandise featuring swastikas, and he released music that glorified Hitler. And these actions weren't subtle, they were extreme, public, and deeply harmful. In the ad, Ye says something chillingly self-aware. He says, "The scariest part of my mental illness is that it convinced me I was not sick." He describes memory gaps, disconnection from reality, and behavior that felt out of body. And he also apologized to the Black community, saying, "I'm so sorry to have let you down." Importantly, Ye says he is now back on medication and in therapy, and that the treatment has been effective. And he adds, "I'm not asking for sympathy or a free pass. I'm simply asking for patience and understanding as I find my way home." Bipolar 1 disorder is a severe mental illness marked by manic episodes that include grandiosity, impulsivity, a reduced need for sleep, and psychosis, including delusions and paranoia. And then during mania, people may believe things that are not true, feel invincible, or even act in ways that are completely contradictive of their core values. Mental health experts agree on this. Mania can distort judgment, but it does not implant ideology. There is little scientific evidence that traumatic brain injuries cause bipolar disorder, though head injuries can increase the risk of psychosis-like symptoms. And this is a critical point. Many clinicians argue that while Ye's illness may help explain how his behavior escalated, it does not fully explain why his delusions took the specific form of Nazi admiration and anti-Semitism. And that distinction matters deeply to the people that were harmed. So, let's start with those who feel Ye's apology is sincere, or at least possible. So reason number 1 is the language shows insight. Mental health professionals often note that genuine recovery often includes acknowledgement of illness, recognition of harm, and absence of defensiveness. And Ye did not minimize what he did. He actually called it reckless, disconnected, and harmful. And that's a shift from previous interviews where he doubled down. Reason number 2 is bipolar 1 can be devastating. Many people living with bipolar disorder or who have loved someone who does recognizes the pattern. They stop medication, escalating behavior, grandiose behavior, and public implosion. For them, Ye's account isn't an excuse, it's a warning. And reason number 3, he's not asking for immediate forgiveness. Ye explicitly says he's not asking for a free pass. And that restraint makes some listeners feel that this apology is different from previous ones. Now, to the other side, and it's substantial. So, reason number 1 is a pattern of apologies and retractions. This is not Ye's first apology to the Jewish community. He apologized in 2023 and then retracted it publicly, then escalated the behavior. For many, trust has been exhausted. And then reason number 2 is mental illness is being asked to carry too much weight. Advocates for people with bipolar disorder are uneasy. They worry Ye's framing reinforces the false idea that mental illness equates to hate, violence, and bigotry. Many people experience mania without becoming Nazis. And then reason number 3, the harm was profitable. Ye didn't just speak, he monetized the ideology. Merchandise, music, branding, and that makes forgiveness harder because it blurs the line between illness and exploitation. And then there's reason number 4. The damage was real. Words like Nazi and Hitler aren't abstract. They carry generational trauma, violence, and death. For Jewish communities, belief isn't the priority. Safety and accountability are. This is the heart of the debate. Mental illness can explain behavior without excusing it. But public figures live in a different reality where harm spreads faster and deeper. People are asking, can someone be genuinely ill and responsible? Can forgiveness exist without forgetting? And at what point does compassion become complicity? There are no clean answers. If forgiveness is possible, many argue it won't come from words alone. It may require sustained treatment over time, silence instead of provocation, and repair work that centers the harmed communities. And no monetization of controversy accepting consequences without resentment. Forgiveness, if it comes, will be slow, and it may never be universal. Ye's ad does not end the conversation. It reopens it, forcing us to sit with discomfort, contradiction, and unresolved harm. Some see a man trying to return to himself. Others see a cycle repeating. And both reactions are valid. Understanding does not require forgetting. Compassion does not erase accountability. And belief, real belief, is something that can't be demanded. It can only be earned over time. So yeah, that's it for today's video on Kanye. I would love to hear your opinions on what you think about this. Is he being truthful or is he being deceitful? It's definitely hard to tell with him these days, or any day as it goes. But anyway, I hope you found this entertaining, enlightening, or in some way beneficial. If you did, hit the like button, subscribe to the channel, and share the video with a friend or two. All right, everyone, take care. Peace.